My name's Alex Chettur, and I'm the writer, director, cinematographer, and producer and editor on Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Hi Alex, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
So, first things first, relieved?
Yeah, I'd say relieved. Less stressed, but all very, very good. Yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah, you're all done now, so that's exciting times. So how was this for you, the process, you know?
Well, from hearing the actor's experience, it's been difficult. It's been a very difficult one because where I'm producing as well as directing and trying to organise every little thing, it's been a difficult process from start to finish, but it's been a beneficial experience because I wouldn't have it any other way without the amazing cast, the amazing crew and the amazing people I've had the opportunity to work with on this project, because I think this is the biggest project I've ever worked on in terms of cast and crew, and I've really enjoyed it, but it's been very stressful from start to finish, but it's been worth it overall.
Would you change anything you've done so far on this project?
So there's one member of our cast. What's his name? Jake.
Think about what you're gonna say, Alex.
No, if I could change anything in terms of anything we've done, I think locations, because I know there was one particular location I really, really, really wanted. It was a good location to use, but I think I could have done so much more with it. Could have done so much more with it, but that's not to say any spoilers for the moment. But yeah, no, there's one location that I know that I wish I could have utilised much better to my time, to my advantage. But that one I know is a lesson for me to take on with me into the industry.
So I think a nice question to say is, so your inspiration towards this, you know, how has it led you to develop what you've done so far, or you've done now?
So the inspiration for this started off, I don't think 2-3 years ago now, where we just did a stupid exercise recreating the Deer Hunter, which then formed over lockdown into an idea about filmmaking and why people get so obsessed into filmmaking. So I watched films like Ed Wood, 8½, what was the other film? The Disaster Artist, and just looked at the understanding of ideologies of people and how they apply it into films. And so then it came to the idea of coming from that to tell a story about a filmmaker that gets obsessed with film, gets very fixated with it, and then seeing the consequences of that unfold. Because it's a healthy industry, but an unhealthy industry at the same time, where people are so 24-hour, 365 working. It's crazy to think how much time goes into productions and then what the outcomes are, whether good or bad. So, sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. So, yeah.
If you could choose any of the scenes from Dear Mr. Fantasy to be reworked in the style of a Tim Burton film, what scene would you choose and why?
I would choose scene 3 because, as I mentioned, Ed Wood was one of my references for Dear Mr. Fantasy, which is directed by the great Tim Burton, and there's this one scene where you got Ed Wood watching the film. He's basically watching the film being made. It's almost like as if this montage of time goes through quickly, but you're seeing it all from his perspective, seeing all the filmmaking, this camera just moving so beautifully around him, and just seeing that almost psychological aspect of one person's perspective into film would have been nice to have. That kind of sort of dark, symbolic kind of thing, almost like this downward spiral of obsession they're going to be going on, basically.
Nice.
So that kind of thing, yeah.
And now that the filming is wrapped, where do you plan to go on to next then with the filming?
That is a big question. That is a very big question. I think I want to try and submit the film into some festivals, but it might be a bit difficult due to copyright. But I know I definitely want to premiere it because it's got such a big ambition behind it, a big message behind it, big relevance. But I know I definitely want to start developing my own film company and start telling stories of relevance and of clarity as well. Because I think that's one thing we've been missing in the world in terms of storytelling. Too much aesthetic, too much beautiful nature, not enough subtext, not enough relevance behind the storytelling or understanding of why these stories are being told. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so without spoiling, what's your favourite quote or line from Dear Mr. Fantasy?
Oh God. I need to actually think that back to my script. Oh God, what is with it? I don't know if this is maybe a little. I think it's not like, it's a little bit of dialogue narrativeness, and it's a scene between Ed and Annie right near the end. I can't say what the line is, but it's just how the delivery's done by both Jack and Sophie is so beautiful that I knew writing it was just kind of that thing that would be electrifying and magical to actually see brought to life. So yeah, so that kind of subtext. It's basically it's a saying, not a line. It has to be a scene for me.
Thank you very much, Alex.
No, thank you.
And I look forward to seeing your future projects.
Thank you.